Dear student, so already we have started the fourth module environmental pollution. Now we will start the remaining parts in the environmental pollution. So in this, so already we have more discussed about our environment and its pollutants. So this mean the pollutants meanings is so whichever these undesirable substances entered into the atmosphere or entered into the environment, it again physically, chemically, biologically changes the characteristics of environment. That is, we can that substance we can call it as pollutants. Especially these are the first entry to that atmosphere, so we can call it as primary pollutants. From this they have formed the another compounds. That is, what is the compounds are look like of nitrogen dioxides, of nitrogen oxides, of sulfur oxides, of other things includes also, that is carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, including of any of these particulate matters. These are we can call it as primary pollutants. From these again react with the components of the environment. It will give the H2SO4, that is acids, HCl. Cl is entered after forming SHC. There is secondary pollutants, HNO3. These are the secondary pollutants. Especially it is entered into the atmosphere, so we can call it as a environmental pollutants. So in this environmental pollutants, next one is sulfur dioxides. So this sulfur is, it is a flue gas in the, its source is flue gases of petrochemicals, flue gases of crude oils. So in this crude oils also, so we can remove that. So from then, because of its irritative gas, these number of effects are also there. It is combustible combustible of um, combustible of fuels, metals, smeltings, paper pulps, and oil refineries. Number of sources, and it caused a lot of health effects. Followed by it can removed by controlling is removed by the flue gases, and then this alternative fuels we can use, and we can also using of some artificial switchings also. So followed by it can use of that sulfur also. The next is oxides of nitrogen. In this oxides of nitrogen, so this in the percentage of nitrogen in the atmosphere more than 72%, that's 71%, more than 70. That is no problem to us. We can using as the nitrogen, no problem. When it is forming into as oxides of nitrogen, nitric oxide, then nitrogen react with the oxygen, forming into as nitric oxides. That nitric oxide again it is formed into the oxygen, react with forming into as nitrogen dioxides. This nitrogen dioxide react with nitrogen trioxides. So then nitrogen trioxide react with the hydrogen is present in the atmosphere, forming into as a nitric acid. Due to this formation of primary and secondary pollutants, these are the very much troubling to us, because it is this nitrogen dioxide is reddish brown irritative gas also. It is a toxic substances, and it is when it is produced in the atmosphere is incomplete combustion of fuels as like of sulfur. So far these are the sources are automobile exhausts, acid rains, industrial plants, gasoline, that is volcanoes, lightning, explosives, and acid pickling plants, the combustion of natural gases also, the combustion of producer gas also. All these gases combustion containing 1.8% of cell nitrogen is there, and burning of coal, extraction of coal mining, oil refineries. So these are the lot of sources. These sources produces the oxides of nitrogen into the atmosphere. So far, this what type of the problems we'll going to face if we have produced into the atmospheres or those are it is a especially we what is the definition reddish brown irritative gas. This irritation means when it is entered into this atmosphere automatically entered into this of animals and plants also. At the time of these animals it is a irritation infection of irritation of eyes, nose, throats, and into this bronchitis, lungs. It causes the asthma also. It causes the infection of asthma also. When nitrogen is harmful to this dioxide, impairment of its all the function, whether it is heart function, kidney function, or any other organs of the human beings and animals, it is automatically the impacts of its effects. So far all these irritatives and impacts effects of all these things including of plants also reducing of its photosynthesis also for human being reduce the capacity of the flowing of carrying capacity of oxygen blood also. All these things finally impairment when it is the flowing of this oxygen carrying capacity automatically deoxygenated bloods will filled. Finally it will brain stop the working also. It will leads to the death. So far so what we are doing for this is uh, to removing the control is removing of nitrogen content. So at the time of extraction, that is oil refineries, including of this oil extraction petrochemicals, before we can remove it. Otherwise, the nitrogen content is 1 or 2% are there, that will causes all the problem for this in the fuel flue gases is not only entering into the atmosphere as a nitrogen, so it is react with the oxygen forming into as a primary and secondary air pollutant. So before using of the fuels we can remove. Suppose if it is there as it is, we can modify the silencers, modify the chimneys. The what is this? The nitrogen is stored in the that silencer. So afterwards we can separately will remove, and it is also it is involving into this burning process also. Only it is completely burnt, so its gas is entered into this no problem. So for yes uh, in the silencer it can reusing we will modify it. This is we can call it as a recirculation of that fuels. So next is a low nitrogen flames. We are using of no low nitrogen fuels, we will use it. It means burning is also not in the high flame. It will burn in the low flame. At the time supposed to be it is coming into as in the form of nitrogen. Already it is there in the nitrogen. So at the time it is the atom or molecule of nitrogen is not converting into as. When it is highly active at the time it forming into as nitrogen oxides and dioxides, it will form. So far so low flames we can use. Next is a fuel switching. So in that fuel switching is almost all whatever these nitrogen basis fuels are all we can remove it also, reduce it also. That flue gas is there, suppose it is reuse it also, but it should not be expelled into this into the atmosphere as oxides of nitrogen. So further, so these are the things. Along with this, so water injection or steam injections are there at the time the fuels it will separated. It is always into this separately stored in the tank. In that type of these modifications, we will delete the vehicles automatically. That is separately we can use it also. So far, because of this irritative gas, it causes the infection, systems, and impairment of all the organs. It is functionless or workingless. We can take care about of this nitrogen oxides. So next is we can pass on to the discussions of hydrocarbons. So already you know it, the all carbonaceous materials we can call it as the hydrocarbons. Only this, even when you take it as a petrol, diesel, oil, whatever it is, these are the carbonaceous materials. If we already know it about of this yeah, the anti-knocking agents also. Before to that, what is, why do we add anti-knocking agent? Because of this knockings. So that knocking is why it is happened due to this incomplete supply of this incomplete combustion, as well as not sufficient amount of oxygen as supplied. Immediately these the unburnt hydrocarbons are entered into the atmosphere. So when it is unburnt is entered, as same it is about of these are the most highly reactive. It can causes the some of the number of diseases, skin cancer, all those things. It will go into palm. So for that, what we are doing is before it is entered, it is the we can check the sources. The sources for these are is the crude oils, coal, natural gas, automobile blends, and industrial sources. These are only because if it is we are definitely using of non-renewable resources of carbonaceous materials as fuels. So this the different forms of the fuels is only the sources of this hydrocarbons enter into the atmosphere. For this, what we can do, the better thing is only the complete combustion, not beyond that. Suppose if it is entered into this the hydrocarbons, so what type of this it is affected on the health of animals also, health, it is affected on environmental also. So this is the carcinogenic, so it can causes the cancer, and it is also irritative, and it is also this cancering in causes also. Irritative means same. It is when it is irritative, it is entered into this our nose, eyes, and including of throat, including of lungs. All these types of this are followed by this impairment of this nervous systems also. When it is impairment starting one by all these organs of different heart, kidney, and including of nervous system also, it is a functionless. So when it is functionless, going to lead to the death. These are also it is also it is removal of or the reduce of what is we can call it as carrying capacity of the blood. So this is the problem of including it is the one more effect is narcotic effect. Benzopyrene is induced the cancer, so we can call it as a carcinogenic. So because of this, finally it will leads to the death. So what type of the precautionaries is the control of using of hydrocarbons? The better we will invent our alternative fuels also using. So other than the carbonaceous materials, like we can the completely combustible fuels or some alcohols, methanols, including of other of what is we can call it as biofarms, including of solar cells. We can use it at the time it is we can use. Suppose if it is incomplete also, the sensitiveness in the silencers or chimneys, it is reuses of catalytic converter. We can adapt it. Then it is easy for to find out. So the totally hydrocarbons should not enter into the atmosphere. That is only the way. So alternative switching of gases, the complete combustions, and better to it is used other than this the recycled also. So the natural dispersion is also we can do it in that we are using for taking precautionaries before entry of these hydrocarbons into the atmosphere. So as it is same of this nitrogen dioxide and sulfur dioxide, the all other problems also it has done. So this next even is the particulate matters. These particulate matters are these are the dust particles. Also, it is called as aerosols. So these particulate matters are we can call it as aerosols. It is in the form of in the micrometer 1 to 100 micrometer sizes. So those are we can below this 1 micrometer. These are the small or the finest particulates, and it is all more to that it is what we can call it as a large type of particulates. So this is a suspended particulate matter. So all we can call it as a sol. So instead of dissolved, it is suspended in the um, liquids, whether it is liquids are suspended in the atmosphere or solids are suspended in the atmosphere. So finally we can call it as a particulates matters only. So some of we can notify what is that specific particulate matter also. Some of these volatile organic materials also suspended into this atmosphere. These are the sizes from 30 micron to this 100 micron. More than 30, it is a large type of suspended particles, and it is minor types of suspendeds. So, what are these types? Are at the time of coal combustion, wind blown dust, and some quarries dust particles, or we can call it as a primary particulates matter. So, after we can this burnt, so as it is flying gases including of um, this blown of dust carrying some these including of carbon what is hydrocarbons of sizes more 2 3 r particles are there, that is also we can call it as a particulates matter. So these are primary parts. In that secondary is what is that this primary particulate matter react with the oxides of nitrogen, oxides of sulfur, oxides of ammonia, that is gases, any forming in these solids react with that forming into respective acids, forming into respective acid. If it is the dust particles also forming into its respective compound. So for those are we can call it as a secondary particulate matter. Of course, of this volatile organic compounds is also that react with that primary particulate matter or components of the atmosphere. They are also the responsible for forming into as a particulate matters. So these particulate matters it is naturally is also due to this using of some sugarcane factories including of pollen grains, fungal spores, cement dust, coal dusts, rain at the time of hail, some snows also, fog, mist, smoke, soot, fumes, asbestos, dusts. Some it is the lot of sources in even biological sources is also there, and even after factories particulate matters enter into the atmosphere are there. Totally causes the air pollutions. So including of these rainy seasons also, any if it is snows, fog it will come, that is also a particulate matter, that is minute particulates matter. The mist is also, and this smoke shoot, these are also this from incomplete combustion or even finally combustion also many of the shoot is coming out, so that is also particulate matters. So these particulate matters also having this lot of the damages to the atmosphere. Those are it causes the diseases. The tiny particles related to this carcinogenics also there. It causes the cancer. So then tiny asbestos also damages the lungs tissues. Same it is of irritation. So when we are using of this irritation, same the irritatives of the nitrogen, so we will go into rate it. The damages of all these particles, uh, all these our health organs, including this, it can damaging to the environment. So far, these controlled of thing is we can go into estimate. So using of other types of that, it is a modern types of particulate matters we can clearing that. One is these filters are dust collectors. In these filters are dust collectors are, it is look like of gravity chambers. Wherever you can going to find out too much of particulates matter floating, afterwards it is more weights are there settled down on the surfaces, or settled down on your nearby your houses. Any of your vehicles is parking in the front of the houses, it has easily to find out that particulate matters. So when this using of these dust collectors, passing on by using of drone cameras also, whatever also, the particulate matter along with the air is entered into that chamber. So afterwards, by the it allowed to the settle down of this gravitational chamber. So the particulate matter settled down. So the then only the free of the particulate matter gases passing from another end. So these are the modern type to controlling the particulate matters. That is one. Second one is the centrifugal cyclones. This is also look like a chamber. So it is one, both the sides are open. So one is entry, another one is exit. So wherever the entry is there, of this all these type of this particulate matter, whether small, big, or minute, or primary or secondary, whatever else, it is entered into that because of this centrifugal working. So then it is centrifugations. Afterwards, it can the completely the settle down of particulate matters. Only the pure gas is enter into the another end. It is possible to these colloidal actions also we can use it. The next is electrostatic precipitators. So these are these electrostatic ones. Same, it is the chambers. One side is enter, another side is a exit. So we can pass into this using of the modern technique, entered of all those things. So this wet scrubber, wet is spraying on those. When is wet is spraying on those, automatically this it is instead of floating is settled down at the bottom. So this gas is not dissolved in that, that is air is entered the another phase. Whatever the particulate matters are absorb the water, that spraying water, so we getting of more weightages and settled down. That afterwards we can clean the scrubbers also. Electrostatic precipitators we can clean it, then it is again it is we pass it. So far whatever it is there, we can neatly cleaning the areas where the particulate matters are going to this. As the same way, so this is a next is electrostatic scrubbers. That is wet scrubbers also we can call it as. In that wet scrubbers and electrostatic precipitators, both the same things. One side is we can enter, another side is using of these electric currents, we can attraction of these aerosols or particulate matters settle down, and another side is you can exit of only pure air. Like this we have to done it. In some more other methods are there, fabric filters and other methods are also there. These are we can use it, we can definitely cleaning of the our surrounding. For example of it is Delhi near 1 or 2 months back, too much of mist. This is we can call it as we can solid carbon dioxide. Due to this is we can call it as a particulates matters. Like this we can clean it, so no problem to us. This next one is, I think it is easy for you, so we can also the understanding is easy also. Already you have studied in your high schools and +1 +2 levels of what are these environmental pollutions, of what are the pollutants. This Next pollutants is one of the heavy metal, that is the lead. So we are lead is the sources of us is the battery, and the lead is the source of automobile exhausts also, and including of lead bases pipes also, and using nowadays we are using of leaded and unleaded petrol. Because of we are adding this lead to this, so it will give the more mileages of this modification, the structure of petrol and diesels also. Thus that we can add it after try the lead, it gives the more mileages by the vehicles. So far, this is a leaded petrol, but it is entered into the smallest minute particle into the atmosphere. It is also a lot of problems, damaging of all these animals and plants. Environmental pollution, it is very severe environmental pollutions it can cause us. So far, so we the instead of this we can leaded petrol, we have started unleaded petrol. So this what type of the problems or the effect it has? It is also irritable gases. It is irritability. When it is using of irritability, the eyes, nose, and throat infections, including of bronchitis, lungs. So it is causes the stomach aches, mental retardation, so digestion problems. It causes the cancer also. The harmful to these wildlife also. It causes the kidney problems also. Reduce the RBC capacities also. Productions of reduces of RBCs also, and it is mixed with water. It is the causing of constipations also. It causes the sterility problems also, become sterile, protocols become sterile, and causes of tickling of hands also, too much of shaking. So for all these problems as done by this using of lead is entered into the atmosphere. So if we this what is that, we can neatly that is unleaded petrol we have used instead of leaded. So anti-knocking other agents we can use it also. Lead is removed from anywhere it is there also. Don't throw it. Don't throw it in atmosphere. It can reduce, reuse, recycling. For all other process we can card also. This is a reverse osmosis process also we can using of some of this instrument. That is also we will going to reduce it also. So from instead of wherever it is the filter for some other things we are using the leads, we can other things alternatives, so we can go into use it. So these along with this the what is that, if it is entered into this atmosphere, that is the soil, it reduces the soil pH, and it is too much of problem to us. That is it is added to this soil, it causes some other problems, and it is entered into these plants, it reduces the rate of photosynthesis also. So far, so what we are doing is only the reducing, reusing, recycling. For this, so we should not use the batteries or others, the carbon and carbon types of electrodes we can use it also. Other metals we can use it. In that, what we can do it is of course of alternatives of electrodes, alternatives of filtering materials, alternatives one. And the second thing is supposed to use it also with careless of don't throw it, recycle it, reuse it, and everything is to be make it clear at the time, no problem to us. So as the same way, the one of the primary particulate matters um, is mercury. So in this mercury, so it is not a good general sources of that. In that general sources of this mercuries are only we have used the thermometers, oil refineries, power plants, forest fires, volcanoes, coal combustions, petroleum in outlet industries, metal processing, and including of batteries, electrodes, or coating of this mercuries, thermometers, dental amalgams, pharmaceuticals. These are the sources we have used to this mercury. This is the liquid metal, this is the heavy metal, so it is only the liquid metal. So if it is very dangerous to us also, if it is entered into this any particles of any minute atoms of heavy metal, it is impairing of nervous system, hearing problems also, speech problems also, vision problem also, muscle problems also, skin cancers also, it problems of mucus, it is inside that also, it will some other problems, it causes the problem to the environment. It is due to this liquid metals, it can react with any of this methyl mercury as formed. If it is any of these carbon dioxide, it is also reacted with that, definitely enter this nervous system, damaging the digestive systems, lung system, working of kidneys. All this is also made, it is totally problem to this entered into the atmosphere. So for this mercury sources, we can reduces, reuses, and recycling. Instead of what we can do, it we stop these coal burnings at a time. The stop of mercury is mining, adding to the some other coatings of the metals, including of gold extractions. Avoid these hospitals also. If we instead of mercury, we can use alcohols, thermometers also we can use it. Supposed we will use it, don't neglectly throw it carelessly into the atmosphere. So we can definitely going to the any particle of mercury is sent back to the factories, and we will helpful to reuse it, either reduce or reuse, and it is a recycling also we can do it, because of it is lot of problems compared to the all other pollutants. The pollutants of mercury and leads are more and more dangerous to the environment. So far, in these primary pollutants, carbon monoxide, nitrogen oxides, oxides of sulfur, hydrocarbons, particulates matter, mercury, and lead, these are the primary pollutants. Totally, it causes the adverse effect in the atmosphere, adverse effect in the air pollution, adverse effect in this environment, water pollutions, adverse effect on the soils also. I think it is easy. So understanding is also easy, and scoring is also easy. Better you can go through the notes also, and you will to using to this to neatly answering, get the good marks in the exams. Okay, thank you.